them know I don't have no time for no drama. Misperforming on stage, I'm singing the soca. Yeah, that is life, I can't complain.
6:47 in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's shift our focus now to the Securities and Exchange Commission and the launch of their Investor Protection mobile application. The SEC provides regulatory oversight of the securities market and protection to investors from unfair, improper and fraudulent practices. The app gives a way for the public to submit a complaint to the TTSEC about an investment or to anonymously send a tip about a financial scam. The app is set to launch on August the 4th, so that's going to be next week. And joining us via Zoom, we have with us already Rosalind King, who is the Director of Compliance and Inspections, and we expect to be joined shortly by Ellen Lewis, Manager of Corporate Communication and Education. Good morning to you both. Thanks very much for being with us this morning. If I could start with you, Ms. King. Good morning to you. We've given the basic information in our introduction, but as far as the effectiveness of the app, which is going to be launched on August the 4th, which is next Wednesday, just give us your sense as to how much of an effective tool you anticipate this will be. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ms. King. Are you hearing us?
Good morning. Yes. Good morning, Sadiri. So the app would be provided to our registrants, our users, our participants in the securities markets and our investors in general, in order to provide them with greater access to the commission, so that they can have avenues to complain or to put in any information to the commission that would assist us in going after any fraudulent activities that may be taking place within the market.
And if I could bring Ellen Lewis into the discussion in her capacity as the Manager of Corporate Communications and Education. Ellen, good morning. Good to see you once again. So if somebody offers me drug Susu Part 46, do I report that?
Well, you should, and I know that you are an intelligent and wise investor. The expectation is that not only would you report it to the SEC as a matter of concern to your good self, but you'd also as well do your due diligence to ascertain whether or not this is legitimate as to how it is presented. And how do you do that? Of course, you ought to make first recourse to the SEC. And one of the reasons why we sought to introduce this mobile application for there, as you would appreciate, everything has changed since the pandemic. Persons want to access service, in a way that which is safe, not only for them, but for the persons who provide the service to the user. So the intention here is to enable greater access to the SEC, to the average retail investor, to the average individual, because he or she might become confused with the formal complaint process. So we recognize that a lot of persons at this time have a lot of time on their hands, perhaps. A lot of persons are at home, a lot of persons are using social media and the internet, a lot of persons are on their mobile devices, and so therefore what do we do to connect and engage that individual in a very positive and a beneficial way to them? So the commission, through the chairman, of course, and the CEO of the Securities Exchange Commission, determined that we ought to introduce a mobile application to more effectively serve the market. And so we've spent some time developing it. We've done all our testing and so on. And we feel at this time that the public would really appreciate the extent to which the SEC is going to engage with the individual retail investor. Because our focus currently, we have already addressed and retreat constantly with issues that affect our regulators. They are well-served market or client. And so therefore, in addition to all the things that we are doing already for the retail investor, we felt at this time we should do something more. And by doing something more, it was determined that we develop an app to allow easy access, to allow convenience. Because you would see that in the last year, since the pandemic, there's an upsurge of these so-called quick get-rich-quick investment schemes. And we've been grappling with it, not only us alone. We've had the police, working with the police or other regulators, being the FIU and the central bank. We have fixed on the situation. So how do we provide protection to the individual investor? What do we do? What can we do? And we've been working at this very, very hard. And a key platform, a key tool for us, of course, is information. And we feel that once the investor is seized of information, he can therefore make that decision that will well serve him.
Indeed, and well, thank you very much for the flattering reference to my presumed intelligence. In fact, I am so intelligent that I don't invest at all. That be the safest way to invest, to protect yourself from those fraudulent schemes is to not invest at all. But I appreciate that.
Well, I disagree with you. I disagree with you 100%. I disagree with you 100% because I know, one, let me affirm that you are an intelligent investor. And you made a decision as opposed to investing or not investing. But remember, we invest to be able to improve our wealth position. We invest to be able to improve and to grow our economy. The more we put money into the system, the more we invest in new business or existing business, we give rise to employment, we give rise to economic growth, we give rise to our development. So we like to encourage persons to invest, but in actually to invest, we ask you to do your checks and balances, to do your checks, to conduct your research. That a first port of call ought always to be the SEC. And we even this particular challenging time where we know that persons have reduced income, where they've lost their jobs, and they have limited resources at their disposal. The question might be, why should I invest? Well, if it is you are considering how to expand and make your money grow for you, of course you can start a business. And if you're able to yield a return from that business, what do you do with those funds that you have yielded? We would suggest to you that you look at what's available on the market and make a judgment to make sure what is best for you based on your life stage. If you are if you are new on the employment market, if you are in your middle ages, if you are now starting off, there is a life cycle, and you determine what is best for you based on your position. But we do encourage investment. We do encourage that you be prudent and smart with how you utilize and spend your money. But we do always, it's important for the market. We do encourage investment, but wise and sound investment.
Indeed. Miss Lewis, thanks very much for putting me in my place, miss. Thanks for the correction. Wait until I catch you in the store the next time you come in. Anyway, let's move along. Miss King, if I could ask you, in your capacity as Director for Compliance and Inspections, is this a really challenging time because of our economic circumstances made worse by the pandemic, because people are in dire straits, are in desperate circumstances, and it's not about being greedy, but because they might see this informal option or this unregulated option as something that might alleviate their circumstances? Just give me your perspective on that, please, Ms. King.
Yes, Fazil. It is a trying time, and of course, persons are very vulnerable. So it means then that they have to find avenues in which to be able to earn income, because what we have found at this time is that persons have lost jobs, persons have been retrenched, or even to the point where the persons have reduced income. So there is an aspect where persons are becoming somewhat desperate, and so they become very vulnerable to these scams. But of course, the Commission's aim is to inform persons, to educate them. So in my role, we would have to go out to our registrants to provide the environment in which persons can be secure and ensure that there is confidence that persons can invest in the market.
And if I could go back to Ellen Lewis as time is going by so very quickly. Ellen, the launch is going to be on Wednesday, August the 4th. So essentially from that point on, what does the average citizen have to do? What can they do to access that app to get some guidance in relation to their investment projections and opportunities and so on?
That's a good question, Fazil. We do in fact take the app live on Wednesday. At that point, we will encourage the general community. We have an estimated, Fazil, about 750,000 retail investors in this country, so it's a really vibrant investing market. And so therefore, we would want all those persons to download the TTSEC Investor Protection mobile application. And when you do that, you have access to all information on registrants, all information on securities, all information on broker dealers and investment advisors. This is why we say at your first point of call, you must make reference to the SEC. We also provide you from time to time with alerts. So if, for instance, something is occurring in the marketplace and we are of the view that we ought to alert or make the public wary or aware to what is taking place, we will alert the public to what is happening so they'll be more conscious and can make a more informed decision. And we will also use the app to send out information to the user on a frequent basis. So really and truly, it's really a user-friendly tool we're introducing to the market, to the individual, so he can have a regular reference and recourse to. It's important that in the current environment, that persons are educated as to what obtains, that you be alert as to what is obtaining, and that you really make the right choice. We don't want persons to be afraid. You really have to confront what is taking place. You have to confront and you have to take charge. And you take charge by ensuring that you are aware and informed. And our obligation and our duty is to ensure the market, the retail investor, the user is fully well aware as to what his or her rights and responsibilities are. And so he or she can assert those rights and responsibilities.
And because we're just about 90 seconds away from the news, and Ellen, I know you're familiar as a media person yourself about the importance of timeliness in the time that we have available. Just one, tell us where do people have to go to get the app when it becomes available, and two, any additional contact information that you'd like to give in relation to the Securities and Exchange Commission before we go to the news.
Well, the app will be available on the Google Store and the Apple Store effective from August the 4th. And of course, we also existing now. Say, for instance, you have a complaint or a concern as it obtains now, you can, of course, go to our website. You can call us directly through our telephone lines. You can come in to see us. We do still operate, notwithstanding what is happening. You can still come in and interact with us. And before I go further, as you said, a key message for audience is that remember the ABCs of investing, which is you must always ask questions. You must be aware of the investment fraud, and you must check the TTSEC first to see if the investment is registered. And do that by coming to our website at www.ttsec.org.tt.
I like that ABC. Ask, be aware, and check. Check. Well done, Ellen Lewis. You might get away the next time you come in this store. Don't mind you buffed me up just now about getting things wrong. Ellen Lewis and Rosalind King of the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, giving us some very important information as well. And indeed, you'll have the additional opportunities via the app, which will become available in the various platforms from next Wednesday. So let's be mindful of that as well. Thanks very much to the two ladies for being with us. It's 7 o'clock now. Time for the news.